5. Blake Daniels and Patrick Lundy in the 11th and 12th starting positions. The D-main transfers in and behind them, Skylar Hunter and Jimmy Wells. It was Hunter who had one of those really good charges up around the top of the raceway where nobody else had found it. So we'll see if he can continue on the momentum.
So we know the top side of 1 and 2 can be really fast, and there we saw Dysinger and Hannigan running 2 totally different lines through 3 and 4. It looks like the bottom side's really kind of getting cleaned off down there, which could mean some grip for these guys, especially with that little bit of a bump there in the middle of 3 and 4 on the high side. Interesting to see, how these guys take to it and the adjustments they make to get through that bump or underneath it.
The crazy thing about this racetrack is the more that it transitions, the more the excitement level goes up, because it just becomes racier and racier and racier.
Yeah, you got to keep up.
Until you've got a ledge so big, you're like, okay, boys, we better knock it down real quick and we'll start all over again. And the maneuverability of this surface makes it such that they can flip it so quick and keep it in that rotation like that.
Green flag is out. Rogers leads him down, and Ron Dennis, Ron has kind of made a living down around the bottom of the racetrack. He's up top here to start this off and trying to secure the second spot down on the low side and stealing it away from him. It's going to be Hunter Rhodes. So Rhodes goes up to the top, tries to block Dennis, making his move on the bottom. Tyler Devenport trying to get through. Now Dennis back down low, and your leader sends it in turn number 3, and that'll end it for him.
Wow.
Jared Rogers.
I think he missed his spot in turn number 3. What do you think about that?
Absolutely, and it's easy to do.
Yeah, just one little whip of the wheel, isn't it?
Flip number 40, a spectacular one for Jared Rogers over in the corner. Let's get a look at the replay as you're looking at second and third.
That's the tail end of it. We'll see if we get another look at it from the full segment.
I think he came in a little hot and skated into it.
Yeah. And with that, I think we'll throw it on up top to Mr. Brian Ward.
Thank you. We have Mason Hannigan up here on top, and you picked up that last C-Main win in one of those familiar 71s, the black, red, and yellow 71 cars doing work.
Yeah, I can't thank Paul May enough for letting me rip that thing, and I wasn't sure about when Russ led me there in 3 and 4. I wasn't sure what to do because that rut in 3 and 4 really killed me, so after those first couple laps, I figured the bottom was good in 3 and 4, and sure enough it was. And just watching the big screen, I could see I was gapping him a little bit here and there, and just able to hold on to the win.
Well, you did well. Congratulations. We'll see you later on in the week.
Yep, thank you.
All right, I think we're going to throw it down to the track to Connor.
Yeah, Jared Rogers didn't ready to take him back to the pit area, but get a look at here. Obviously, a lot of damage up on the top wing as he's about to head back to the pit area. Looks like some damage on the front end as well. You see the right front wheel tire is off. Jimmy zooms in a little bit, but an unfortunate ending to the Winged Outlaw Tulsa Shootout for Jared Rogers. Back to you, Caleb.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that thing's seen better days. Here's a
really
look for
look at it.
So this is lead cam, one of our two.
It looks like something broke, Clinton.
That was, gosh, I haven't seen any cars react that way through the middle of the track.
I think it was almost as though he broke a wheel, possibly, the way that car just hopped right up in the air.
Maybe if we can take one more look at it.
That was
now
interesting.
That we've seen that angle.
I thought initially that he missed his mark, but it appeared to me as something broke.
Awesome job in the production booth, guys, of getting that replay loaded up and ready
hop.
to go. He's in.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what would cause him to bunny hop, being that it's not that choppy there. Although it is deep and mucky, it's not that ripply right there. That race car jumped up on its own.
It's like the shock unloaded on him all of a sudden,
like
right?
The
and that should be in the should be in the
something.
compression stage of it.
Yeah.
There's not a hole that big up there.
No, now we got a new leader, though.
Well, Hunter Rhodes is taking over. Ron Dennis in second, and Dennis is making his bid for the lead on the bottom of 1 and 2. Side by side down the back straightaway they go. Dennis and Rose and Ron Dennis shuffle him into the top spot. He is your new leader.
Yeah, Rhodes is going to have to pick the top or the bottom and get there. That middle groove's just not doing it, as Mahaffey's right on his tail bumper for that final transfer spot.
Mahaffey wadded up big time earlier in the day. They've got that car all fixed up, and now Mahaffey looking for the final transfer. Right now he's got it. Rhodes can make his bid to take it back.
Yeah, we see that bottom side really starting to clean off down there and starting to make speed down there. Mahaffey still holding on that final transfer. The 88 car of Joey Mancia is really trying to make a charge on the high side.
right back at her. Now, Mahaffey to the high side. Rhodes down low, and Rhodes looked like might have another shot at it. Mahaffey goes to the bottom of 3 and 4. Amantia on the move in 4th. Rhodes in your picture on the bottom side. Jason Mahaffey, there's your leader. Ron Dennis just beyond halfway, 6 in, 4 left. Top 2 advancing here in this C feature.
Mahaffey starting to gap your third place runner of Hunter Rhodes. He's running the high line in 1 and 2, the bottom at 3 and 4.
When did Dennis gap Mahaffey that bad? That advantage, 1.5 seconds. He is really looking good out there. This is a battle for who gets to go to the trailer before the other guys.
Yeah, I think that bottom side just really starting to clean off, and you can make a lot of good grip down there. Dennis is so good around the bottom side of the Tulsa Expo Raceway. Laps are winding now. It's going to be white flag this time by for your leader, Ron Dennis.
That's a big move right there. He's got her wing down.
White flag out. That's for 3rd and 4th that you were watching. That's 1st and 2nd. The 2 cars, they're going to move forward into the B mains tomorrow. Ron Dennis in 79 and Sean Mahaffey in 11. Hunter Rhodes, Joey Amantia, Joey Jarowitz Jr., Blake Daniels, Tyler Davenport, Jared Horth, Jimmy Wells, Skylar Hunter, TJ Thompson, Logan Julian, and Patrick Lundy with the DNF for Jared Rogers.
And we're going to get some water on the racetrack after that one. And the 222 went up in smoke after the checkers. That's Jared Horth. Tough break for the Nathan Benson Motorsports entry. Expiring an engine after a tough weekend for him.
Another one of the G-Force sure-built suspension cars rolling up into up to the ramp and to the trailer to assess how bad things look, and if there are any other races, can you make them?
Clinton, have you had an opportunity on air yet to express your man, you've got a big chili bowl coming up.
Yeah, we do. We'll talk about it right after we read these lineups here for C feature number 6.
Justin Patoska is on the front row with Paige Moss from DeLand, Florida next to him. Cameron Counter and Eli Adams, Aiden Borden, and Tyler Kuykendall in the second row. It is Brandon Anderson and Gunnar Setzer, Hunter Barron and Caleb Stelzig, Brent Shoemaker, and Laramie Freeney of the 12 cars that came in through points of the Pete races. And the D-feature move-ups, Shelby Hinton and Steve Finn.
Yeah, back to the Chili Bowl. I'm going to pair up with the Rams Racing guys. That's Rick Young and Jeff Taylor. And, put a really solid team together with Parker Price Miller and Nick Hoffman as my teammates. And it's, we're got all the cars ready a couple weeks ago and just feel really prepared headed down there. I'm going to have AJ Parker on my wrenches, and I think we got a really good shot at a really good run. Same team I was with last year, AJ on the wrenches again, and just building off kind of what we had last year as far as speed goes. We were really good, and the driver just wasn't as good as the car. So, that's the great thing about Chili Bowl is you always get another shot at it, and we're going to keep coming back until we get one. So it's fortunate.
It's great to approach it with an easy, free mind, knowing that old Jeff Taylor, win or lose, is about as good as they come.
Yeah, man.
It helps you as a driver know that whatever happens, let the chips fall.
To have guys like Jeff and Rick that always believed in me, giving me opportunities over the last 3 years whenever I needed one, help me out however they can is huge, and that's just much appreciated, and it makes my life a lot easier as a driver behind the wheel. We're gonna move on from that and toss it up to Mr. Brian Ward.
Thank you. We got Ron Dennis up here putting it on those young guys.
Oh my gosh, them guys are killing me today. It's too much for an old fella. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to go to the bottom. I've been watching the last couple of races. Everybody got up on top and was banging the cushion real hard. Everybody gave me a sign to go up top, but our chain's loose. It was popping a couple of times. I didn't want to take a chance. I went down bottom and it stuck the first time, and I thought, this is where I got to be. So it was by luck. I'm telling you, it was by luck.
All righty, well, now you got a feel for it, and you can turn around and get ready to go later in the week.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much.
All right, congratulations on your win.
All right, thank you.
Oh, that eye roll of exasperation of the work that he still got to do said a whole lot. I mean, you threw a C, now you got to get through a B, then you got to get through a last chance qualifier to get in the A. It's the long route to make the show.
Excited and exasperated.
Man, him him mentioning the chain slip right there is huge, because if you're chain slipping, the last thing you want to do is go to the top side of 3 and 4 and bounce and give your chain a chance to rip a sprocket or just skip even more, turning the teeth of those sprockets down.
You were reading my mind as I was thinking about that there, and that makes so much sense. And that's a veteran racer thinking that, hey, chain skipping, I got to keep this car low, slow, and engaged on that in the suspension the whole time.
Right, yeah, you can't let your car unload, load, and that's, the last thing you want to do when you're chain slipping. So, Ron Dennis making a really, really smart, on-the-fly decision right there. It's little things like that can keep your shootout alive or end it.
Well, we'll see if Petoskey and Moss can keep their shootouts alive here. C feature, this is the 6th of them. We're scheduled for 8 in the winged A class, green flag out. Petoskey low, Moss goes down to follow, Moss goes around, and nearly everybody avoids. A little contact with 3rd place, but not enough to mess things up too much as to see the nose wing askew on Paige Moss's 99 and caution flag out.
Yeah, she's not going to be too happy with how that start went for her. Gonna fire it back off though, and
Nose wing damage.
yeah, rejoin the tail of the field.
One of a number of great Hyper chassis in this field. Our race day brought to you by Hyper Chassis, and if you haven't seen Hyper Innovation, you can get lost for hours on their website. It's hyperracing.com. Go see all the cool stuff that they build, the cool cars that they build, and even more. That's hyperracing.com. Well, Moss will join around in the back. We'll get a complete restart on this one. Petoskey should still be on the inside of the front row. See how the rest of everybody lines up now with Payne shuffled to the back. Outside, move forward. Is that Eli Adams that's going to be up there? It's one of the 90 cars is what it looked like.
It is. It is Eli Adams.
Look at the back straightaway. Terry Maddox showing him 1 to go. Maddox, the head scheduler for a bunch of the series that you see under the Lucas Oil American Sprint Car Series banner, including the Now 600 series, which is growing like a weed through the Midwest.
Has become an amazing promoter in his own right. I mean, he really stepped out on the ledge this year at such a young age. Amazing, and was very successful off the bat amidst a crazy time in our world.
Kudos to all the promoters who stuck their necks out on the line just to schedule shows, not knowing week in and week out with county regulations and health and such that was going on. If you were going to get to race, we ran the Pacific Northwest all year with no fans in the stands. Not a single ticket was sold at Skagit or Deming Speedway on the season. It was crazy train. And
you were there, I'm sure.
I was there.
How eerie is that for you? Of your whole lifetime, you knew of that place, just empty and racing still yet.
I'll talk to you a little bit more about that as we get through this main event. It was weird. I'll tell you that much. Back straight away, and off to a good start is Petoskey. As 2 cars getting after it for second. Into the second spot, that is Eli Adams. So Adams on the high side, but we're going to come to a stoppage again. Yellow flag is out. 3 cars over in the corner. The 74 of Anderson, the 4D of Shoemaker, and 96C.
That was Cameron.
Cameron Counter.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you this. Skagit Speedway went to running on Thursday nights. Very odd to not be at a racetrack on Saturday nights after doing it since you were 12 years old professionally. No fans in the stands, and had a great season. It was crazy how many people tuned in and watched it was a pay-per-view only model, and guys would get out of the car. We had Tanner Holmes out of Oregon get his first win, come up and do a wing dance, and I quipped, wing dance for the capacity crowd of 0.
Like a Ricky Bobby moment.
Kind of weird, right? So, and while I'm thinking about it, a huge shout out to some of the people that made that happen. They're watching on the Flow Racing broadcast tonight. Both Justin Youngquist and Lisa Dines did a ton of work behind the scenes to really get that up and going. And like I said, a huge kudos to all these promoters across the country, not just Steve Beitler and Paul Lemley in the Northwest, but everywhere who under strange, weird, fiscally risky conditions said,
scrutiny.
Yeah, we're going to run race cars
and
get these guys somewhere to go play or make a living in the case of guys like Clinton.
So delicate. There were quite a few trailblazers during that time when we all came out of a shell around late April.
Late April in some cases,
amazing.
Late May, early June from where we were.
Desert Southwest never got to see a green flag. Unfortunately, it was just amazing.
Yeah, I know, guys, on my end, especially in the Indianapolis area, we race for our living. That's how we put food on our table, or in a lot of cases feed our families. And so, we cannot be more thankful to have the opportunity to go out and race and, have guys do whatever it takes for us to be able to race. As we go red flag on the raceway to organize this lineup.
Yeah, it's a mess with the amount of cars that we've had knocked out one way or the other.
Well, that's the convenient thing with these clutch cars that if need be, you can do that.
But how cool is it, in a year where we did not run a King's Royal, although kudos Roger Slack for scheduling 2 King's Royals next year. That's awesome. A year where we didn't run the Knoxville Nationals, the year where we didn't run a World Finals, that of the tentpole races that have still made it up, we're getting the Tulsa Shootout in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the Chili Bowl is still on as scheduled. So
the weirdest thing to me after things opened up and being able to dive feet first into it, the insanely big crowds we were seeing at places we were allowed to race. And before this time, it was pretty common to see somewhat dwindling crowds at different tracks.
I think we just it made us make sure we didn't take it for granted, right?
Yeah, it was as though people would never see another race this last season.
When people went into lockdown, the thing that you took away that really affected mental health more than anything, other than seeing friends and family, is you took away their recreation. You took away their ability to go gather in groups and watch something that entertained you. So you can only watch so much Netflix. You can before
It leads me to think about the amazing atmosphere, bizarre, amazing that this place has created thus far. Because, I don't forget what Triver told me after a heat win at the scale earlier yesterday. Racers, man. To the core, it's all about unity, and they're there for each other, and they will do what it takes. What he said, we do some pretty crazy to do what we do, and proof in the pudding. What an amazing effort, an amazing feat, cooperation by so many it takes for people to conform and do what you got to do what you love. And kudos to everybody in this entire building this weekend. I haven't really run across bad apples, and it's crazy.
Dilly.
Yeah. As I'm fidgeting with my mask. It's crazy.
Off the 4th corner, now newly redone lineup, still with Patoska on the pole. Now Aiden Borden has got the outside of the front row. Let's see if we can actually get some laps in. Eli Adams going to run in the 3rd position. Adams down to the bottom of the raceway, chasing Borden up high, who's really giving Patoska a good run for his money for the lead.
Yeah, some fresh water on the outside of the racetrack proves to be really solid for Borden here as he makes a pass for the lead. We got one slowing on the front stretch. Terry Maddox trying to get him to the infield or get going. He's going to be a lap car here in just 1 second.
That'll be a gift at some point in time. The driver is the 4D of Brent Shoemaker. And Shoemaker, with your leaders closing in on him, both of them go to the bottom of the racetrack. And that allowed the 95 of Adams to close back in. Now quickly, Borden back up to the high side. And your front 2 getting back away from positions 3 on back.
I think that's where Borden wants to be, and Adams is going to follow and try and make some hay up top. Boy, tight race for the lead, 0.07 of a second between the two, as we're going to get a yellow flag for Moss on the front stretch.
Killed his momentum.
Derek. Sorry. He entertains me as much as anything else in this deal.
Man.
This is a production, right? We're in the entertainment business.
Well,
We're putting on a show for our fans.
That's the coolest thing about that young man there, is that he appreciates that aspect of the game.
Yeah.
And when he really gets into it on Saturday night and shows his, man, he's got a flag routine and he's good at what he does. And don't cross him.
Yeah.
Don't jump his starts.
Do not jump his starts. I can attest to
you
that.
can attest.
We are an entertainment product, and pace of show and how much entertainment you can provide the people that are buying a ticket or buying a subscription on an awesome service like Flow Racing like this matters.
Stood his ground to Sammy a few years back, firm with a black flag in his fist.
Yeah.
Stood his ground as the crowd went wild.
4 laps in and 6 to go. Justin Patoska leading. Gonna go good battle with Aiden Borden out front.
So if Adams is going to have a shot at it, now's his chance. And Borden with a big run down the backstretch on your leader, Patoska.
I think he's got something for him. A good run off the top.
He does. He's got the lead.
Adams and Setzer battling for that third spot.
Now will he go to the bottom to protect? No, he doesn't.
Patoska kind of, to mix my poker terms, he's pot committed to the low side at this point. I've not seen him venture up as of yet. Hasn't needed to, but with 3 to go, he's got 3rd, 4th, and 5th, eyeballing him up for the final transfer.
That gap is definitely closing, but I don't know that it's fast enough, especially as Adams and Setzer start racing each other.
Adams low, Gunner Setzer high. Now Setzer down, says, no sir, no more 5th place for you, Eli Adams.
It was a nice move. Didn't necessarily chop the nose off, but he snugged that left rear end just when it was time.
There's just 1 lap to go. Is Borden up around the high side, Patoska 2. Great race between those two. And it ends with Aiden Borden moving on to a B-Main and bringing Justin Patoska with him. Gunner Setzer, Eli Adams, Tyler Kuykendall. Shelby Hinton came from the D a long ways up, falls short. Brandon Anderson, Hunter Barron, then Steve Finn, Caleb Stelzig, Paige Moss, Cameron Counter, Larrabee Freeney, and Brent Shoemaker.
Racetrack starting to get that sheen on it.
Yeah, it sure is.
Borden came from 5th to win that, by the way, so all of that, all of those hijinks at the front of the field helped a bunch.
So you see after our rework, how quickly that cushion's moved back up as we take a peek at the lineup for seat feature number 7.
Here's Chase Porter.